Hi, my name is Wilman Ziada, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with acclaimed singer-songwriter-producer, Anna Ah. For more on Anna, you can read more about her right below this video, but in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at her incredible song, Desert Sunset.
A side much closer to the truth. No ego, my love. No stresses, my love. Just you in plain view. Finally you are you. Finally I am me. Finally we can be free. Sweet desert sun and night. Nature enhanced by the moonlight.
Well, hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I'm doing so much better now that I'm speaking with you. And I'm so excited that our audience just saw a little sneak peek of your tune, Desert Sunset. Anna, how did you come up with that song and the concept for it?
Well, my boyfriend and I had traveled to Joshua Tree for sort of a spiritual experience. And it was evening and we were just there alone and we were just experiencing the open air in the desert. And I wanted to capture the magic of that experience.
I love it. Well, you definitely did. And on top of that, Anna, I loved researching you these past few weeks because you're not only a singer, you're not only a songwriter, you're a producer, but you do even more than that, because when I think about you, you create an experience. And I want to delve into young Anna and when she realized that she was going to be doing this for her life.
Well, I've always been creative. I've always been writing stories. It's just something that was in me, just always creating, always imagining things. I think when it shifted over to music was maybe when I was a young teenager. I used to be really into a lot of the classic rock bands, for example, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, because I think they did a really good job of creating songs that were cinematic, that their sound design was such that you could just picture an entire movie in your head when you'd hear them. And they moved me in such a way through their storytelling and through their honesty. And they moved me in such a way that I'm like, this has opened my narrow world that I'm just kind of tired of. It's just opened up this whole new world. And so I was really into, and still am, really into that music, because not only did it sound really good, not only was the sound design really good, but there was a lot of narrative in terms of the lyrics and in terms of videos. For example, Pink Floyd has their videos that go with their music. And I became interested in singing and writing music as kind of this holistic art form to transport people into another world than what they're used to, and also to sort of make statements and reflect upon society when in sort of your regular life, you wouldn't necessarily have access to that. I really connected to it as a teenager because I felt really confined by my regular life, and I felt like there were a lot of limitations.
Yeah. Well, what I love so much, Anne, about what you're saying is basically putting into words what I was feeling. Because what you've had me made me feel is that you not are only looking at what I'm a theater director, so excuse some of my theater language, but you're not just looking at the proscenium. You're looking at the 360. But not only that, I could close my eyes to your music and I saw film. And so I'm happy that you mentioned the fact, even as a kid, and thank you for sharing that you felt so confined, because there's something about you living in the wonderment and possibility and escapism that is bleeding all throughout your music. So I love that you have almost taken the baton of your heroes, but have filtered it through you and awe.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I don't, in my day-to-day life, I really don't feel this sense of wonderment and expansiveness. I feel like this culture in this day and age, and I don't want to be too broad, I don't want to make too many generalizations, but I feel like at times it can be really, my life can be really limiting when I sort of go about my day to day. And I feel like this is just a way to expand it and to open a door to something else.
Absolutely. And you have a sense of, maybe wonderment's the wrong word on my end. You have a sense of play about you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think that's a better word. Yay, Will. Okay. But Anna, I also want to know, because I was telling you off camera, I love your brand. I want to know how you came up with your name, and then also just the whole branding of it. It's so unique, so singular.
Sure. Well, the name Anna Aw is a variation of my real name, which is Anna Offcaesar, which no one ever knows how to spell. And they always get the spelling wrong. And it's just really annoying because I'll be on the phone with a representative and I'll have to spell out my name like 10 times. So I'm like, I can't go into the music industry with this name. So I shortened it to Anna Aw because it's still the same. It's very similar to my last name. I just made it easier to spell.
I
And then,
love it. I know what those representatives are like, being with the last name like Nunziata. Dare I say anything else? But keep going. I apologize for interrupting.
no. It's totally understandable. But also regarding other aspects of my brand, I am also a visual person, and there's certain, I want my brand and I want the visuals to reflect sort of my imagination, and I have certain favorite colors and certain colors that I associate with my music that more and more I'm trying to reflect in the visual branding as well.
I love it. Listen, Anna, this has been a tough time for humans, mainly also artists, right?
Oh, absolutely, 150,000%.
And I'm curious too, Anna, because you're so in touch so beautifully with your imagination and your bliss and the flow of being an artist. And I'm curious what this time has been like for you and what you've been able to maybe work on, and then also what you're most excited about moving forward, hopefully past this mess.
Sure. So when you ask like what this time has been for me, do you mean what COVID has been for me?
Yeah, these past 18 months.
It's been very interesting because I've learned more and more and more how to be self-sustaining over the internet. And I've put out a lot of records that I've produced and sang and composed and everything from home. And now it's at a point where I'm working with other people all over the world, either as a singer or as a producer, using the same method. And so I've developed a method, a DIY method that seems to be strong enough that it's getting on FM radio and it's getting released by labels. So as a result of COVID, I've sort of come up with a new process of making art that's self-contained and DIY.
You know what I love so much about you, Anna, is that even pre-COVID, you've always kind of looked at the roads in life and not only went down, you didn't go down those roads, you created your own, and you continue to do so. And I think it's really inspiring, especially for young Annas out there who may need an outlet, you know, to feel like they can look up to someone. And I think you're going to be that person for them, truly.
Well, I sure hope so, because I think that it's really important for everybody to have sort of their own identity in life and their own passions. I think often the world or culture tends to dehumanize people.
I agree with you.
Celebrity.
Yes.
And I think it's really important for people to discover the power that they have within themselves and their own actions and the internet to sort of forge their own passion and forge their own identities. So I hope that my music can help people sort of understand their imagination and their humanity and their individuality, and also whatever it is that their passion is, whether it's art or dogs or whatever it is, that they start to forge an identity and a sense of worth around their own self, if that makes sense.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, look at going off of the fact that I think you look at music and art in a 360 mindset. That's what I love so much about this new social media app that's going to be coming out, you know, and I'm so excited for you to not only be a part of it for yourself, but in terms of the collaborations. I mean, you have such a universal appeal, I think, that would lend itself to not only here in the States, but, you know, in the East. And I'm excited for you and many of the artists on here who have just this unapologetic authenticity to them like you do.
Oh, I'm very excited for the app, because what I've been doing, and doing more and more so, because I originally just wanted to get a record deal, but more and more, and especially during COVID, I'm discovering that with the internet, there are other ways of becoming established and distributing your vision.
Yes.
Besides going through the traditional system. And I think this is a way to help artists forge that type of path.
Absolutely. Well, Anna, I could speak with you forever, but I want to let our audience know, for more on the amazing Anna Ah, you can read more about her right below this video. Anna, thank you so much for your time today, really.
It was my pleasure.